Thank you, Director Dean Professor Ottmar Lehner and Karina Knoll for inviting to this Environmental Impact Finance and Accounting for Sustainability Symposium organized by the Hanken School of Economics and the Oxford Academic Research Network. And it's my pleasure to present today a few thoughts on green finance. Already the motivation came out of behavioral economics research, in which I find that people feel that when they spend time in the environment, that they spend it very preciously, and that parenthood really gets people to think about future generations and environmental protection. In a more macroeconomic modeling, I think about climate justice within society in interesting taxation strategies, like having a progressive taxation scheme, a corporate tax, or a consumption tax to raise the funds for climate change mitigation and adaptation. And in a large-scale project in macroeconomic modeling, I show climate change gains and losses if you consider that every country in the world has a different mean temperature, different GDP composition of agriculture, service, and industry sector, and the sectors have different peak temperatures in which they are the most productive. You can come up with a scheme that we have climate change winners and losers. Here in the world map, you see the greener countries have more time ahead until they reach the peak economic condition, and the red countries will have run out of time in 100 years, given climate prospects. And I already now find that there are a highly significant positive correlation between being a climate change winner and greenhouse gas emissions. So the countries that have time ahead, they also are causing the problem more. And in the bar charts, you see in the downwards chart, I show 1/3 of the gains, and you see this green bar of 1/3 gains. Only a few countries will be winning more than most of the countries will be losing from climate change. And I already find now climate-induced migration and financial inflow patterns into the climate winners. I only show these gains from a warming globe in order to show redistribution patterns and ways grounded in philosophical and ethical considerations. For instance, Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative and the interpretation of Hans Jonas that you should not engage in any action within the biosphere that you would not want to have incurred onto you, and John Rawls' veil of ignorance that speaks about evaluating every predicament without knowing whether or not you will be a winner or a loser from the consequences. And one direct redistribution scheme, I calculated the GDP growth prospect per inhabitant, and as you can see here in the world chart, you see that greener countries should be transferring some of the gains to the red countries that will have run out of time, and they have the least GDP or the highest GDP per inhabitant losses due to climate change. And then I propose 4 indices to show real redistribution mechanisms, and one of them counts the climate change winning and losing prospect and CO2 emissions. And here you can see the red country, China, should consider taxing climate change causing industries, and with the taxation revenues, bonds could be paying out premium bonds payments to green countries that are more climate losing and are not causing climate change by causing CO2 emissions. A second index also integrates the climate flexibility, the range of temperatures that a country can offer. And I see this as a future climate wealth of nations trade asset. Here you see the red country and the yellow countries. So China, US, and Russia should be taxing CO2 emitting industries, and it would also lead to a transfer to a renewable energy solution. And they should fund premium bonds payments in the green countries. Index number 3 is also integrating CO2 emission changes over time. And here you can see the US would shift into a climate bonds premium recipient for having drastic CO2 emission cuts in the year 2019. The last fourth index also integrates historically grown bank lending indices, which indicate how easy it is in a country to raise funds. And here you see red and yellow should be funding green countries. So China and the US should be funding those countries that are climate losers, have less CO2 emissions, and also have a harder time to raise the funds. And I thank you for your attention and look forward to questions and answers in the